Scale, exit, repeat. 5 stars or bust, why reviews matter. That's what today's show is all about on Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat, Serial Entrepreneur, Secrets Revealed. Today we are on Clubhouse. We are live from the Startup Club studios. I guess you call it that. We have a podcast room here, but it's Startup Club Incubator here in Fort Lauderdale. And my fellow co-host, Michelle Van Tilburg, she'll be joining us briefly. But I thought I would kick this show off with a song. I just did a big episode on Entrepreneurs on Fire and with JLD, and wanted to share something with you as the room begins to fill in. And let me tell you this: AI is transforming everything that we do as entrepreneurs. It is absolutely humongous. So let's give it a try here. Let me show you what I got. And just, it's going to have 1 million views. It's going to be a huge video. Here we go. Started with a spark, now we burning bright. Late nights, no lights, just that inner fight. Blood, sweat, doubt, but we rise through the flame. Every failure, just fueling the game. CR said, change your state, take the lead. From the ashes we rise, plant the seed. Ferris told us how to bend time, break free. Design your life, live it like you own the key. We're the ones who fall, but never stay down. Turn setbacks to gold, wear scars like a crown. This is the grind, the climb, the empire. We are entrepreneurs on fire. Barbara built her wall brick by brick. Started small, stood tall, now she's slick. Gary V said patience, but punch the day. Empires are built, one jab, one play. Seth got in whispered, don't make your tribe. Be remarkable, that's how you thrive. Through the noise, through the fear, through the rain. We bet on ourselves again and again. Stay down, turn setbacks to gold. Wear signs like a crown, this is the grind, the climb. All right, I think you got it there. That is Entrepreneurs on Fire. We're working on a music video right now. Thought I'd give you a taste of that. And we're using AI. We're using AI for everything. And but today's show is all about the reviews, and I'm curious how this music video, the reviews we're gonna get. I told the guy who's building the video that we're gonna get 1 million views. So I think reviews are all about views and stars, right? Have you seen that Black Mirror episode where they start rating you on everything? Did you see that one, Michelle?
I did. Can you hear me?
I hear you very well.
Okay, awesome. Because there's something weird going on with the app, but I did see that Black Mirror episode. I thought it was so cool the way they filmed it. Everybody was rating everyone at all times. So
Is that the world
obviously
we
that
live in? Is that really
changed.
the world we live in?
I know, but and that changed behavior. Do you agree with that? I don't know
Oh,
if it
definitely
was
change. You should see
positive.
me in Uber. I'm the nicest guy in the world in an Uber now. I think
I
I got a
know.
better
I
Uber
know.
score than
Bad
you do.
review. I don't know. I don't know. I always tell them to give you a bad score, but I don't know if
I
they
know you
do.
try to do
But
that,
yeah,
but
it's competitive. It's cutthroat.
I think I got a better score than you do.
It's competitive. It's cutthroat. You're proving the point. That's
Yeah,
right.
if you're in the
Because I
audience
want a
and this
better
is
score.
resonating with you, raise your hand. It's Friday afternoon. Today we're doing an open mic. It's all about 5 star reviews. What's your Rotten Tomatoes review? This was a topic that we talked about in the book Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. And there was a chapter and it talked about it broke it down into a concept of movies. And so we said there were 4 examples. One was Catwoman, which was a movie that they never actually launched. So it had bad reviews, bad marketing, whatever. They just decided to kill it. And then you had Hugo, by the way, one of my favorite movies of all time by Martin Scorsese. And the movie was a kid's movie, but it was done extremely well. And in that movie, they had very high Rotten Tomatoes score, about 94%, if I remember correctly. And it was a financial failure because they never marketed it. And also, Martin Scorsese wasn't known for doing those types of movies. That could have had an effect on it. I don't know, but it was a phenomenal movie, but didn't do very well. And let's go with one that an old classic example of a movie that sank, no pun intended, or intended, let's be honest. Water's World. That movie they spent millions and 100 million on advertising, and the movie still tanked because it had a horrible Rotten Tomato score. And in the book, I talked about a movie called Top Gun 2, which had a 96% Rotten Tomatoes score, and they invested hundreds of millions in marketing and it made 1.8 billion, one of the most successful movies of all time. This is the concept that what we need to do is really get behind our products and promote them, but only do so if we have positive reviews. Okay. We've got to get reviews that are excellent, that are outstanding, that surprise the public, that are incredible. And so we did the newsletter this month. It just came out this month. And if you missed it, I'm sorry about that because it's a true masterclass in reviews. And every month we do one newsletter. It's called the Startup Club Edge, and we've done this is our 11th newsletter. We do everything from the time to sell index to an AI tip of the month to a core article that I work on personally and write for this email. And I call it a masterclass. Last month was a masterclass on failure and how
All
to
right.
learn
So
from it.
you said you're not using AI and you actually wrote the article.
I write all the articles. I don't do
All
any
right.
AI at all.
I'm
For
in.
now, let me be clear here. Let me be clear how I do this, okay? So I will use AI for research for articles because now I just signed a deal with Entrepreneur Magazine as well. So I'm working for Entrepreneur Magazine, Forbes Magazine, and now Startup Club. We own Startup Club, obviously, but every one of those articles, I write them raw. I just go raw, and I just spend an hour in the room, write it out, and then what I'll do is I'll use AI to clean up a little bit of the text. But even when I do that, I
All right.
still de-AI is it. Like I don't I go in and I make certain there's no AI hyphens or anything. I just make certain that the
All right.
SEO, the
I'm just
Google,
asking because I know we talk a lot about AI, and I'm just going to say, even though I like AI, that makes it more appealing to me, quite frankly. So,
what I've learned and through my research with AI in Startup Club, because Startup Club right now is getting a lot of attention by the search engines and AI, and it's pulling original material. And so every time we write an article, AI loves that. So I feel like we're going back to a time of original content, that AIs are valuing original content more than Google valued original content because there were a lot of hacks around Google. When you did a search engine, you did a search query or something like that. If you type in how to write a best-selling business book right now, it's going to have our article from Startup Club right on the top page. If you type in best movies for entrepreneurs in 2025, best books for entrepreneurs in 2025, we're going to be on the front page for Startup Club. And
you
you
know
go
what
into
I
AI.
think?
Let me finish my point though, Michelle. If you go into AI and ask AI, what are the top 50 or 100 best books? You know, half the time Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat comes up, which is the book as that just we won the award today, came out, won the award for the top business book of the year. So it's pulling information from the internet that's authentic and real. And if you want your products to be found on search engines, if you want your concepts to be pulled from AI, you got to contribute to original sources. And by the way, Startup Club is opening up to contributors now. Now, I don't want to deviate from our topic here,
I
Michelle. This is
know. I
Black
know.
Mirror. You're going to give me a bad rating. I
Well,
already
you
sense
took
it.
us down. You took us down
You're
that path.
I
You
know you're
know.
set. I feel like you're giving me like a 3.5 out of 5 right now.
I
Like you're
know.
like
It's Rotten Tomatoes, man.
exactly. So if you got the newsletter this morning, it was incredible. The reviews are in. So what's your Rotten Tomato score was the heading. And this is the Startup Club newsletter. And again, we do this every month. If you're not on startup.club, it's free. Everything we do on startup.club is free. Yes, we're going to start getting sponsors. There are going to be some promotions as we go through this, but we don't charge. We don't it truly is a master class of a particular topic every month. And we use the example. I use the example in the book, and I want to tell you about the Joe Foster story. But before I do that, Michelle, how important are reviews in your world? I know you're the CEO of Pod.com.
Oh my gosh, reviews are everything. And we spend a lot of money on reviews as well. I'm not talking about paid reviews, Colin, but just the whole workflow management, the whole marketing stack management of it. And it's like all alarms are going off for us, quite honestly, if we start getting bad
How
reviews.
many reviews do you have? By the way, it's in the
We
newsletter.
have, I'm very
It's in
proud
the
of,
newsletter, by the way, so you better
I
not get it
know,
wrong.
I'm very,
I have a screenshot of it in the newsletter.
oh, cool. I'm very proud of the team for this because this is like a team effort. This is culture. This is real culture. We have over 53,000 five-star reviews.
Yeah,
Probably, I wouldn't be surprised at this point because remember I was telling you the sales numbers. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it was over 55,000 at this point.
yeah, yeah.
And that
And
is
so,
a
what is
lot.
that? How does that matter for a consumer?
We can all talk about ourselves as companies or people and tell people to give us their money, but a review is real. At least in our world, it is. I know there's things people do to fake them, but I think the platforms are pretty wise to that these days, Colin. There's
So it's
nothing
that social
better.
proof, right? It's a social proof.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That's the social proof. And also, yeah, you don't always get five-star reviews, and we know they're critical. And it drives us to do what we're doing, and we're working so hard and listening to it. When things are not a five, maybe it's between a four and a five, we actually do listen to it, Colin, and we try to turn it around. So it's absolutely critical. There's a lot of money and resources and just like listening that goes on there. It's the unadulterated feedback that maybe you want, maybe you don't want, but we should all listen to.
Yeah, I feel like it's elevated, actually. I go back in time and I think it didn't matter as much, but then maybe it did. Let me tell you a story. I'm going to take you back to 1979. This is just after the Star Wars movie launched. I was 8 years old and I fell asleep in that movie. Sorry for that. I love that movie. But I remember falling asleep at 8 years old. In 1979, there's a company called Reebok. And there's a gentleman named Joe Foster, and he had gone to America 10 years in a row. And he tried to get a distribution deal. He went to the Chicago Fair every year, and he just couldn't get the deal until he made a decision to apply for a five-star award from Runner's World. So he submitted three of his tennis shoes to Runner's World, and he actually won three five-star reviews. This got him a distribution deal with Paul Fireman in the United States. And he then, one of his employees came to him with an idea. They launched a aerobics shoe for women, and Jane Fonda wore his shoes on television. And I asked Joe, I said, Joe, hey, did you actually pay Jane Fonda to do this? And he goes, no, I did not pay Jane Fonda. She paid for her own shoes. And I think that's funny, actually. One of the first influencers. But what and okay, I'm not done with the story here, but it goes from $9 million a year in revenue, Reebok, in 1979 to 900 million, and actually becomes the largest shoe company in the world for about 2 years before Nike pretty much decimates them. But and using, by the way, influence in whatever Shaquille O'Neal. And the fact of the matter is, reviews matter. It may mattered back then. Awards matter. I had the chance to see Samuel Adams. Sound familiar with that? You know what Samuel Adams, Michelle? Are you familiar with that?
I think it's a beer,
It is a
but
beard. Yeah, I saw him speak about 20 years ago, and it was for me, it really woke me up to this concept of awards. He was just a small brewery, like a craft brewery, and they decided to apply for an award, and they won as one of the top beers in the United States. It's been since then focused on winning those awards, and that took the beer into the national attention, got the beer national attention, and became obviously a multi-billion dollar brand. And again, it's about awards, it's about reviews. So this show today is all about reviews and awards and what you can do, not to hack your way there, but what you can do legitimately to get there, to get those reviews. And if you're in the audience, come join us on stage. If you've been reviewed, if you've had a negative review, come share that with us. If you've had a positive review, come share that with us. Because today that's what we're talking about. And we want to crack this. This social proof, this idea of having others rate you. It's fucking scary.
You
I
just reminded me of something.
Okay, but I wanted to say, Michelle, before you jump in there, is that before the book Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat launched, I spent 10 years working on it. Then we brought in the team. 6 of us worked on it. We interviewed 200 people. We put our heart and soul into this thing. Mimi, you've been there. You saw what we did with this book. And I was scared. I was nervous. I was like Dawn's in the audience here. She We work together, and I'm like, Dawn, I was nervous because this was putting myself out there and saying, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm like smart, and yeah, I got an idea and I want to share these stories and this concept, and but you're sticking yourself out there and you have no idea how it's going to turn out. You have no idea what the ratings are going to be. Thankfully, the ratings were amazing on Goodreads and on Amazon for Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat, and on the awards. And today it was announced that we won one of the top business book of the year award for independently published books, and that was pretty cool. So, Michelle, go ahead.
Yeah, you just made me have this horrible flashback of the corporate world when we did 360 reviews. Do you remember that, Colin? Yeah,
No, no, those are the worst.
it was the
Employee
worst. I
reviews are the
hated it.
worst concept ever created. I wish I was
Yes.
filming this person. But the cameras just went down dark for a second here in the studio. But they're the worst possible thing you can do to your
Yeah.
company is review your employees because they don't make any sense. It's like, how you're bad at this, okay, whatever. Don't get me wrong, feedback can be good, but it can be iterative,
But
right?
feedback should be all the time. I
Yeah.
remember spending hours and hours reviewing people and working on my review. And then I finally met, her name was Teresa Grove. She was my VP at a very big company that did analytics. She had come from TNT, and she said to me, I'm never going to say anything bad about you or to you in your review. And that was like a very eye opening experience for me, Colin. And then she said, but I promise you, like, I will just be honest and give you feedback all the time. And that was inspiring to me. And that's how I think of us and how we run our businesses.
So talk to me a little bit, Michelle, about Amazon and getting reviews on Amazon.
Oh, God.
Because if
Amazon,
you're not a 4.5 stars or higher, you're pretty much done, right?
Amazon is difficult, super difficult, because for us, we're very, at paul.com, we're very aggressive about customer service. If somebody complains, we really try to have an open dialogue about it. Amazon, you don't own the customer. And you get a few people out there saying bad stuff about you, you might as well take your listing down, Colin. And we have some mutual friends that have been in a situation where they've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to get to the top of Amazon results and build up feedback, to then just either get spammed, because that can happen by somebody, or just something goes awry and start getting bad reviews. There's no one you can talk to at Amazon. Everything's an email and a protest. I know I've protested things that like for 6 months before I got like a decent kind of response. It's critical. Like it's still an enigma to me, quite honestly, and we do quite well on Amazon. But yeah, you gotta, I think this
Sometimes
is,
I think I call it the king of the hill strategy, right? Where
yeah,
you
but
gotta
what
be
you do,
number one in that spot, number one in reviews. So sometimes you gotta sell it below market just to get that position, and then once you're there, monetize it enough, but don't go too far before somebody else knocks you off the king of the hill.
but that's my point. If somebody knocks you off, you end up losing. It's almost like you lost all this money. It still is an enigma. And now Amazon just recently, I think it's been a couple of months, they're always releasing these features. Now they have this feature that will pop up on your listing that says this item is frequently returned. Okay, I don't know about you, but doing returns on Amazon is easier than going to the mailbox these days. Okay. But yes, we have to overpower. It's the way I think of it. Obviously, we want everything to be 5 stars, but it's work, it's proactive work. And it does take dedicated thinking. You need the right people responding to them because the wrong tone, like, it can kill you. I had an employee on one of my companies, nice guy and everything, just being very direct and candid an answer, but he came across as very arrogant. And he wasn't trying to be arrogant. It's just things are very hard to measure. Tone is very hard to extract or construe online. So you have to have somebody who is really just thank you, please, just very puts their ego, as you would say, checks their ego at the door, Colin. As a business, you've got to check your ego at the door on these reviews.
I agree. And let me give you the 5 real world tips to get better reviews. And if you want a copy, this is in the newsletter. Mimi, I don't think you can get the newsletter after it comes out, or if there's a way to get it on the website.
I think we could post it there.
Yes, we're going to be posting that with a link so people can directly subscribe so they never
Oh,
miss a
nice.
future announcement or anything.
That's great,
Great
but you
idea.
don't want to miss these newsletters. Let me give you the 5 real world tips for getting it better reviews. We talk about the 10 years making the book, 200 interviews, 6 full-time employees, and just a lot of freaking hard work. Guess what? Number one is make a great product. Think about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit of a Top Gun
Like the
fan or whatever,
movie?
but that Tom Cruise, yeah, Tom Cruise fan.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. I look at those Rotten Tomatoes scores, Michelle, and if I see that the critics are like 90% and the people are 60, I won't watch the movie. If the critics are 60 or 50 or even 40, and then the people are 60 or 70 or 80, I'll watch the movie. Isn't that
Okay,
interesting?
that's a really good example because you're leaning towards the people, not the critics.
Because I don't believe the critics. I don't follow
That's
that
right.
stuff.
When I look at the critics, I'm like, yeah, he hated it. I'm sure I'll love it.
Yeah, it's interesting, but
Yeah,
the people do matter, right? Anyway,
absolutely.
number one, make it great. Okay, so you got a great product. And by the way, it's easy to stand by something that's great, right? Because when it's great, and you'll stand by it and you'll promote it and you'll get good reviews for it.
And
But
that's a great feeling.
if
It's a
it's
great
shit, you're
feeling.
going to get bad reviews. Even if you try to ask all your friends and family to do it, doesn't matter. There's too many people out there. You're done. You're finished. It's got to be good stuff. Number two, ask for reviews. Okay, so here I am going like I'm saying, if you're asking if it's crap, don't ask. If it's great, yes, ask for reviews. By the way, if you're in the audience, you've read Start Scale Exit Repeat, please review this book. It makes so much difference for me on Amazon or Goodreads that when you review this book, it just elevates the book. This podcast, if you're listening to some podcast, review the podcast. We love reviews. And by the way, sometimes those reviews aren't perfect. That's okay. We'll learn from that. That's
That's
called the
right.
learning element, right, Michelle?
Yeah, that's the humility, right? We're going to learn from others.
So we had an Airbnb here in South Florida, and we got one really bad review. This doesn't sound too bad, does it? But this bad review was so bad. It was a 1-star review, and the guy had made up all these issues. He was a real asshole, like truly not a great
Well,
person.
scammer. Yeah,
A
scammer.
scammer. He wanted a free stay. And the company that managed it gave him a free stay, and they moved him to another unit, and then he wanted a free stay from that. And it just tanked our listing, and we had to close the listing and restart it. That same Airbnb right now is 4.99, 119 reviews. We really deck it out. Like we really do. We do Airbnbs and with Weston Heavenly Beds, and we do the really fun mods, unexpected moments of delight if you read the book, but just all these fun things that we do in these Airbnbs. Right? So social proof equals money, lots of it. If you got the social proof, you got the reviews, whether it's an Airbnb, whether it's product.com, a product, whether it's a book, it doesn't matter what it is. We're all being reviewed, right? You're even being
True.
reviewed if you're just on LinkedIn. I'm sorry, like
It's
people are going
true.
to follow you or not follow you. You're expert in an industry or not an expert in an industry. Michelle?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'll just say, even offline too. Let's not get too in our heads here, but like we all review each other all the time. That's just the truth, especially if you have a job
I was just looking at the newsletter. I was thinking we don't have a way to review the newsletter.
or
We
even
should be
refer a
reviewing the
friend.
newsletter every month. Yeah. All right. Number three, make it easy.
Make it
Right?
easy.
If it's hard to review,
Yeah.
so include direct links, mention on the reviews on the videos and podcasts, use a QR code if you're in a physical space, like, oh, please review our Fit Gym.
All right, I have one for you too. I don't know if it's on your list,
Let me
Colin.
do the five first that we did in the
Okay.
newsletter,
All
and
right,
then
feels
hopefully
like
we
you've
got
done
some.
six, but go ahead.
Okay, that's good. And hopefully we got you got something, and then hopefully we've got some people in the audience who want to jump on stage. I can see some we got a couple people now want to get on stage. Mimi, if you
Awesome.
could just monitor the channel there. Number four, showcase your praise.
All right.
Okay.
I can think of a few things, but go
Well,
ahead.
I'm so Canadian.
Oh, I
And I
know
came
this
from this
one.
Canadian background of you don't brag, you're very humble, you're very, and then I came to the United States. I moved here in 2002. So it's been what, 20, almost as, I've lived in the United States almost as long as I've lived in Canada. And I love Canada. I still consider myself Canadian. And they're very nice people. And I'm a nice person, I think.
All right.
Canadians are
You
nice. But,
convinced us. Move ahead.
all right. But we don't promote ourselves, Canadians. We don't get out there and say, you know what, we did this, we did that, we did this, we did that. You got to showcase your praise. We won an award today at Start Scale Exit Repeat. We won we won the top business book of in the world today for independent published books. About a month ago, we won a silver for all books for the Business World Award, and about a month before that, we won the Axiom's gold medal for all business books. Sorry, all books on entrepreneurship. That one, Axiom was on entrepreneurship. You can win the awards, but you got to tell people about it. I just did that right now. I know this is a little totally shameless, whatever you call it. But I've learned that you gotta stand up. Everyone has to stand up. Every single person has to stand up and say, "You know what? It's pretty cool. We won this, or we won that." And is it bragging? Maybe it is. And that's something that some of us, especially our Canadian friends, don't like to do. That's something we don't do, and that's a little bit. It's not innate. It's not within our nature to promote ourselves.
And I don't think it's just Canadians. Some of us just don't like to talk about ourselves. Okay. So I think there's ways to do it. We could have a whole show on that, actually, Colin. I'm thinking that could be fun, especially for me. Like, I would love to refine my skill set in that. That's something I need to get better at.
And the
Let's
last
do.
is promote your praise, announce social wins, newsletters, podcasts. I know on paw.com you put out the number of 5-star reviews. By the way, on the website it says 37,293, but I know you're over 50,000 now.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is you're out there, you're promoting it, you're letting people know. And the bonus, the last one is listen to the reviews. So I'm on this cruise ship last week, and they come to you at the end of the cruise and they're like, "Oh, you gotta give us a 5-star review for this, or you gotta give us a 5-star review for that." How many times you went, whether you bought a car, went on a cruise, did pretty much anything, and if you don't give a 5-star review, the guy's gonna lose their job.
Oh, gosh.
It's horrible. I know, but and you feel bad for them, so you can't not give them a good 5-star review.
It worked.
So you go out there and you give them that
Um,
5-star, but the reality is companies are doing that to their own detriment because they're not improving. They're not actually making changes to the mistake to what happens to their situation. So actually in Airbnb, they have you can do a review now and then you can send a private message to the
yeah.
host, which I like because I'll give the 5-star review so they don't hurt, but then I'll let them know, by the way, you can actually do this. And by the way, that's not a when you complain about something, that's not a bad thing. That's actually helping them out. It means you actually care about them. All right, Michelle, do you remember when we were in, I think it was Seattle,
Okay.
and the GoDaddy staff?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and we got the Uber. We went to the restaurant, and what happened when we walked in the restaurant?
All right. So I thought we had a nice ride, but anyways, a nice Tesla. It was a very high end business part of Seattle. So we get out of the car, everything's fine. We're having this business meeting. We go into the restaurant. I'm sitting there, I look up, and there's this very angry gentleman who I recognize to be our Uber driver. And he ran into the restaurant and ran up to the table and was like, "Why did you not give me a five? You don't understand. I won't get work now. I won't be able to support my family." He's saying to the other person that gave the review. And it was very interesting because the other person said, "You really have to exceed my expectations to get a five." And then, of course, like the restaurant people were horrified and ran over and kicked this guy out. But it was a very telling, I would say, and a dramatic event, Colin.
Yeah, you just cut out for 1 second there, but
Oh, you didn't hear what I said?
no, just the very last second, the last statement.
Yeah, it was very telling. And I felt upset and bad for the guy, right? He was like, "You don't understand. I won't make a living now."
Yeah, it was fascinating. It really does affect people's livings. Like it is what it is, and so we have to be cognizant of it. Maybe we don't want to go as far as Black Mirror, where we go down that path.
That's
Michelle just joined us on stage. Michelle, she's back there. She's gone. She's back. Michelle, we'd love to hear about your Rotten Tomatoes score. Michelle on stage there. I know we have two Michelles here. A little bit
but she's
confusing.
on mute. I'll go off.
There we go. Michelle on stage. You have the microphone here on Clubhouse on Startup Club. Yeah, she's getting
She
a
got
phone
a
call.
call, Colin. Michelle with
There we
two
go. I know. Just
L's.
when you're on stage
Yeah.
there, Michelle. Okay, she's got a call.
Yeah.
So the newsletter goes on. Let's let you keep
I
walking
have
through.
one. Are you
You got
done
another
with
one?
are you done with the year five?
I did the five. I did the
Yeah.
five.
I'm just going to say for us, there's a couple of things. There are review syndications where if you're on third party marketplaces, you can push your reviews out, which is a good thing. I'm not endorsing, not endorsing, I'm just saying there are syndication platforms like Bazaar Voice for you to syndicate your reviews onto third party marketplaces like a Wayfair or a Target Plus. Like that can be very impactful, especially if you have a lot of good reviews, obviously. Where it's bad is it is marketing tech and it's expensive. So you just have to look at your economics. So that's one thing. We also use our reviews in our social media and our emails. They make very nice content. It's bridging the gap with UGC. And then another point I wanted to say, which I think most brands could be doing better at, Colin, is responding to reviews and comments. I personally love it when I go on a website and on whatever the experience is, even if it's a good review where they just express appreciation, or even if it's a bad review, just telling them they're sorry if we didn't live up, excuse me, to your expectation, contact us directly. I think that's an underutilized thing that people can do is more engagement with the reviewers, because I tell you, I don't review many things. It takes time. It's a pain in the ass, quite frankly. So when somebody actually takes the time to do it, I think we should be responding. And then I'm going to stop and let you talk. This is a story that another one of my bosses had told me, and I thought it was really, really good story. He had worked at Pepsi at the beginning of his career. He was a kind of a senior business development person. Something came out. It was like very negative press against the company. And they decided as a company, this is a little bit pre social media, just to own it. Okay. And I've been in situations like this too. You're like, okay, do I own this, deny it, or ignore it? Is what I say. And both these companies, they owned it and spoke up about it, even though they were true negative things. And months later, years later, when discussing with influence or doing inner reviews, surveys, excuse me, it consistently showed that actually built brand loyalty, even though you had messed up, Colin. Okay, let me be very clear here that you owned it and you apologized it and you had an open dialogue with it actually increased your brand presence, your brand trustworthiness. So I encourage everybody to not be afraid of reviews, embrace and listen to them. Over to you, Colin.
I'm with you there, Michelle. I know Michelle, the other Michelle just jumped off. I know you've been getting a lot of phone calls, but if you want to jump back on the stage there, I think she's coming back in here. Here we go. Let's give it a second here for the app to manage itself. There we go. Oh, sorry, we have
Plutos.
Plutos. Is that correct? The pronunciation, Plutos?
Sounds Greek.
Yes, yes, that is correct. Yeah, my name's Kevin, but yes, that is our startup. Yes,
Oh,
Plautus.
Plutos is up. Okay, cool. But Kevin, yeah, so we want to hear from you about reviews and how important they are in your world.
Oh, for us, we have the top academics, Harvard, Yale, Caltech, and MIT. That come on. They produce their papers in AI. So ours is a little different. We promote at conferences. So we're in the more in the academia and industry world. But yes, reviews are everything. I worked at Atari before, and so yeah, I knew the people who made Star Wars. You brought up Star Wars. So yeah, there's nothing more important than reviews and get some eyes on the prize. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And something
Marketing.
you said, Kevin, because it sounds like you're in academia, like also in that world, like, isn't that whole world about being able to accept feedback and reviews, even real life? I know it's not online, but I think the parallel runs true. That's how you learn.
Oh yeah, peer review and colleagues are for everything for in academia. But yeah, once it goes into the marketplace, yeah, then things are more closed doors, of course. For I, but yes, it's both worlds bridge accordingly. Yes, that's very true.
But I wonder if you've got a concept and the world doesn't see it. I'm thinking about
Right. The
Monet
negative.
and how he came out with this new form of painting, impressionist, right?
Yeah.
Form. And they had this in Paris, they had this festival or whatever it was because they refused to show his paintings with the other famous painters. So they created an impressionist show, or art exhibit, and people started showing up and it took off. So it was almost
They
like
liked it.
he didn't follow the system, he defied it. But then again, really, that's all about reviews because people showing up is reviews, right? Isn't
That's
it?
right. They're voting with
Right.
their presence.
Voting with their presence. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, of course, there's reviewers. It's very
But what
multidimensional.
happens if you get a bad review and you really believe in your product or
Okay,
service?
that's hard. I was just speaking about that. Like I was been in marketing for a long time. But oh my gosh, I remember at first it wasn't about like product reviews. It was a lot about blogs, Colin, and forums. And oh my gosh, if somebody says something bad, and then a lot of times these people wrote it, and the same as social media, obviously. And then they just, because some of them are just trolling and they just want to have arguments. It's fun for them. It's easy. It's an easy pop shot. That was the most difficult thing for me. And I think for me personally, you have to like be able to figure out. It's hard. It's not gonna be perfect, is to realize how to like put the people that are just being evil and mean, trying to get attention to the side compared to real authentic feedback. It's an art and it's not always perfect, but you just keep doing your best, I think is what you do. I know if we end up fighting, for example, a Better Business Bureau claim, like really just you have to be responsive to the true complaints and honest and transparent.
Yeah, yeah. And remember the first skit on History of the World Part One with Mel
Yeah.
Brooks, the critic. Remember what in the cave drawings, and then the
Yeah.
critics pissed on the cave drawings. Mel Brooks was satire, so he knew all about critics.
Right.
Like critics, Billy Joel was poo pooed by the critics. It goes on and on.
I have a personal saying actually, Kevin. I'm like, oftentimes I realize I'm a little bit older now, is things that I don't like at first, even people, it's actually rubbing an emotion with you. A lot of times it's not a bad thing. Like oftentimes they end up being my best friends or my favorite songs. So I think there's something to be said there about not being afraid to get the feedback, Colin. It's just it's feedback. That's it.
Isn't every entrepreneur that goes out there and launches a business, they're being judged? They're being judged by the customers, by their family, by their investors,
By
by
themselves.
everyone, by themselves. This is the reality. This is the difference between an artist and an entrepreneur.
That's a really good
An artist is
parallel.
someone who can produce some really cool art, but an entrepreneur is somebody who can create art and people buy it.
Yeah.
And that's reviews. I'm not being negative towards artists here because a lot of entrepreneurs are
No,
artists.
I think you're
I
being
understand that.
positive.
But if nobody buys your art and you put it out there and you can't make a living off of it, it's like a tree falling in the forest. Is there a noise? Does it really fall? And an entrepreneur is someone who bridges that gap because I truly believe entrepreneurs are more artists than they're more artists than operators. And they take their art, they visualize what people want. They solve a need. They go in there and they make something happen for someone and people buy the product and that's the ultimate review is the sales. I'll end it with that.
Yeah, but I think we've talked about this before. Actually see artists, musical, visual, whatever, as entrepreneurs. Like it is kind of like the coolest form, one of the coolest forms of entrepreneurship, Colin.
Yeah, and if you're in the audience, just jump on stage. We're here Friday afternoon, and we are talking about reviews, how impactful they are, how they make a difference, and how you can, as an entrepreneur, figure out how to maximize those reviews. Sometimes it's a good idea to ask your friends and family for them. With the book, when we first launched, quite frankly, it's like asking people to pull teeth. Would you please buy my book and do a review? It doesn't happen. Don't get me wrong, a few people may have done that, but it's just very hard to pull from friends and family. When you go out into an audience and you do a speech and you give them value and they love it, I find they're much more receptive to giving you positive reviews. But in any case, if you're in the audience, come on, jump on stage. We'd love to hear from you, how reviews make a difference in your life. I know in the incubator we have here, paw.com's got 52,000 reviews for their products. Our Airbnb company reviews are absolutely critical. Startup Club reviews for the podcast, reviews for the book, Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. They're critical. And I can go on and on every business that we have, whether you're a software platform, whether you are a real estate agent, everyone's got to Google my business. People we own a school here in Fort Lauderdale. And by the way, the number one rated school in Fort Lauderdale under by greatschools.org. And that's is reviews. But I tell you, how do you get the reviews? How do you ask people for reviews? It seems like it's almost like pulling teeth. Like I personally think you should always be asking, but do it at the right time. What do you think,
Yeah,
Michelle?
it feels a little weird, right? And I would say it is like pulling teeth. For us as an e-commerce company, it's probably actually easier because people don't, it's not like your friends or family calling. They don't want to write a bad review, right? You're their friend. They don't want to hurt your feelings. But other people, they don't care. They don't know you. But include it in your emails, like your purchase confirmation or your shipping confirmation. There are legal, ethical ways to ask people and send them product for reviews. I think that's fine. Like it is pulling teeth, but I think actually friends and family, that's nice. And you can send them a couple of personal emails, but you really have to work with your customer base in a way that is impactful. And I have found that to be emails.
All right, great. If you've liked this episode or you like the book, we love reviews. Kevin, any other thoughts on this particular topic before we close out here?
No, just I'd like to congratulate you on your prestigious independent book award.
Thank you.
The gold standard. So there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna get it, and I'll try to expose it to as much as I can with my network.
No, I
Thanks a lot.
appreciate it. And we won a silver medal last month for top business book of the year award. It was like four books were, and I got a silver medal. I was so upset. Why is that gold versus silver? What's the difference? It really is not that much. You think
Should
about the
be happy to
Olympics.
be thought of and
No,
nominated.
think about the Olympics. One
No,
person wins by a half second and they
no,
get the
no, no,
gold,
no,
and then the
no,
first
no.
next person gets a silver. It doesn't. The
You,
reality is they're all really good books,
it's
and
like
yeah,
how
no, we put
many
our
100,000 books don't even, oh,
yeah,
yes.
we put our heart and soul into this one, the Start Scale Exit Repeat. It's got 178 chapters, 180 call outs, 30 illustrations. It's color coded. Forbes Books published it, and they did a phenomenal job laying it out. We do have a complimentary start workbook, which is out right now, which will include a deep dive on every chapter. That's not that version's not out yet. So if you're thinking about grabbing the start workbook, just wait a week or two. We're gonna have the deep dive for every
We're going to put
chapter.
it on sale.
Yeah, and then this book was written for the ADHD entrepreneur. You can just literally get the book, read one chapter, listen to the deep dive, really absorb the information that comes from it. It's not a you should do this, you should do that book. It's stories. It's a lot of failures. It's we talk about it's a lot. We had again over 200 people we interviewed. About 50 of those interviews actually made the book. But it's a lot of stories and conclusions that we draw from those stories of how you can start, scale, exit, repeat. And at each stage of the book, you need to think about the story, people, money, and systems. And when you put that together, and I did this podcast with JLD from Entrepreneurs on Fire yesterday, so it'll come out in about 2 months from now. But this was the topic. But when you put those four ingredients together, your chances of succeeding increase dramatically. Look, entrepreneurship is something you can learn. It is a trade like any other trade. You can actually learn this trade and become very successful at it. And what we've done here in the book is lay out the ingredients to do that. It's not, is it a panacea? No. Is it a tip of the iceberg? Yes. It is the beginning of understanding that entrepreneurship is more than just the personality of an individual who can get something off the ground. It's the personality of an individual who can get something off the ground and then learn how to delegate responsibilities, not just tasks, learn how to hire great people around them, learn how to sell that company, and then learn how to do that all over and over again. And that's what this book does. It breaks that down with all the serial entrepreneurs and authors and experts to try to figure out what is the real secret formula behind entrepreneurship. And we've got some pretty good statistics in the book. You can actually increase your chances by double. You can double your chances of success by simply learning the information in this book and getting a mentor and going into an incubator like the one here in Fort Lauderdale. And a lot of incubators in your city, they're free to join. You can join them. And it's all and it's about reviews, Michelle, like that Black Mirror
It
episode.
really
So
is.
what happened with the Black Mirror episode? They went off the rails. So what happened was she was this lady who she was 4.6, 4.7. She was able to rent a really good space. She was able to get good car rentals, this, that, and the other. And then as she disintegrated, her ratings started to fall and she was no longer able to function. She wasn't able to rent. Think about it like a credit rating, right? No longer able to rent, no longer able to do this, no longer able to that, to the point where she totally just collapsed and went
Yeah,
off the
rails.
system. But it does show you there are some negatives to reviews as well, and how it becomes that people abuse it. There's definitely a lot of abusers. I'll tell you that.
Yes, yes.
I want free rental. I want a free this. I want free that or whatever.
A lot of platforms have ways to have those taken down, but they hurt in the short term. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
probably you can get away with it for a little while on Amazon. Negative reviews, get some free products, but then eventually it's going to catch up to
It
you,
does catch up.
right? And karma too, right? Karma's going to let
Karma's a
entrepreneurs. Yeah.
bitch. Karma's a bitch.
Exactly. All
And
right,
on that note,
you've been listening to Start Scale Exit Repeat Serial Entrepreneur Secrets Revealed. We do this show every Friday, 2 o'clock Eastern. This is a podcast. This is a YouTube video. This is also a live show on Clubhouse, and we love it. Kevin, thank you for coming on stage. We
thank
love
you,
it when you
Kevin.
come here in person and join us on stage because that makes a huge difference for us. It's a community that comes together, Startup Club. And if you haven't already done so, go to startup www.startup.club and go to our website and sign up to that email list. It is phenomenal. You will get tremendous value. It is a absolutely free website, and we're working on a business plan AI. Like, we're working on a lot of AI solutions. We've got a lot of custom GPTs to help you with your startup. Go to startup.club and sign up. It's absolutely free. We don't ask for anything. It's a master class in entrepreneurship
It really
every
is.
month with that email. Every month is a master class. You just got to sign up to the email.
Count me in.
All right. What's your review, Michelle, of this email,
I'm going
this
to
last
say I
email?
think this was a very good session. And like yourself, it's great when folks like Kevin come up and join us. But reviews do matter, Colin.
All right.
I hope
Sounds
everyone
good.
found this to be a 5. Thank you.
Yeah, I got a message here from Mohammed. You can be awesome and still get a shitty review from a
That's,
racist figure and
I love that. That's good.
insecure Nazi bitch. Okay, so that's a little too much, maybe but you know what? It's true. There was a review on my book. Like, I shouldn't say it, but there was a review on Amazon on the book that said, I don't like the fact this is an old white man, privileged, who wrote this book, and gave me a 1-star review. And Amazon's not taking that down. I don't care. I don't care. I don't think whether you're old, whether you're your age, whether you're white, whether you're male, whether you're female, whether you're bi, it does not matter. It's about the content. And when we start looking beyond, that's one thing I like about Canadians. We call ourselves colorblind. We don't care. But when you go beyond that, I think it's a mistake. And I understand your sentiment in the chat there that we shouldn't be looked at for who we if you don't like who we are, but you can look at us at our work and say that work is cool and give us a review for our work, not because we are a particular segment of society. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for listening, and see y'all next Friday, 2 o'clock Eastern. Oh wait, I should have ended it with the music, Michelle. Yes, start scale, exit repeat, he never rests. He built the roadmap, lit up the dud. Now we're all running on that same spot. Rhythm 1, 2, 4, but never stay down till I sit back to go. Scores like a crown, 60 line, the climbing empire. I am JLT and we are entrepreneurs on fire.